This presentation is on setting up your computer to use PHP and MySQL. There's not all that much to know. Just about any reasonably new computer is going to work. You're going to need about 500 megabytes of hard drive space to install one of these three packages: WAMP for Windows, MAMP for Macintosh, and LAMP for Linux. Now we're going to show you how to do WAMP and MAMP. If you're on Linux, you're going to need to do that yourself. WAMP stands for Windows, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. MAMP, of course, Macintosh, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. And these special software packages that we're going to learn how to download will allow you to run PHP locally and MySQL locally and test out a great deal of your work before deploying it on an actual website. Now, the next thing you're going to need is a plain text editor, not a word processor. Do not use Microsoft Word or an RTF program, nothing like that. Here's a clue. If you don't know that you have a word processor or a plain text editor, if you can make a word bolded or italicized, you have a word processor. Don't use that. Those word processors have funny little codes built into the back of their file formatting, and sometimes those funny little codes can cause very unfunny things to happen on your web pages that you can't see because it's white space to you. So use a plain text editor. For this class, I'm going to use TextPad for PC. It's at textpad.com. A free editor for the Macintosh is Text Wrangler. A lot of people like BBEdit. Also for the PC, just Notepad can work, or Notepad++. Any of these tools are fine. Just make sure it's a plain text editor. These editors that you'll see that you can download for free, most of them, will have color coding on the windows as you're looking at them, as you're doing coding, but that color is not really part of the text. It's just a visual cue to help you see things like brackets and keywords in the programming language like PHP. They're just an aid. Now, the third thing you need is an internet connection. You don't really need the internet connection to develop PHP and MySQL here using WAMP or MAMP, because we're going to run that locally. But you're going to need to do research sometimes on php.net is the main site for PHP. You're going to want to look some things up, maybe go beyond what I explain in my presentations. Likewise for mysql.com. And I have a note there that it's really Oracle. Oracle now owns MySQL, and so they're the ones supporting it. I'm going to go over to these websites briefly. This is php.net. It's the main site for PHP. One really nice tool here is there's a search for box, and it looks in the function list by default. If you don't want to just look for a function, you can look at all of the online documentation by selecting that as well. So if I'm looking for a particular function, such as print, I click the little arrow there, and I get some information about the print function. This can be handy. Not only does it have the basic syntax of what the statement does, often people have made contributions of how you might use the print statement, and then there's some information about other things that may be of interest to you that relate to that function. If we look at the MySQL site, mysql.com, you can see we have product, services, and etc. And there's information about the various editions and documentation. So keep this site in mind as well as a resource as we proceed through the class. So that ends the presentation on what you need to do to set up your computer to get started.